Nice, isn't it? Beautifully crafted piece of mahogany made in Germany, ideally suited for this kind of high quality studio environment that we're just, well, that's ideal. Let's put it like this. This guitar for this situation, beautiful, but it's maybe not that ideal for different situations, like drunken but happy on the campfire or festivals, on your way on holidays when the family van is already cramped and on the edge of exploding, and you come along with your I need to take my guitar along, dear, and maybe not so suited for gigging and touring musicians who are using railroad, planes, and bicycles. Sheer size and breakability, deal stopper here. So you might have noticed this whole video is not about a specific guitar or distortion box. It's about a use case. Use cases for guitars. So that means the right thing for the right purpose, with a focus on traveling musicians. The first use case that I mentioned was drunken and happy on the festival or the campfire. And I chose for this the GS Travel by Harley Benton. A slightly smaller body size, mahogany, and in Germany it's called NATO. The wood, I don't know if that's the correct expression in English. The scale is 590 millimeters. No, I don't know the inches. Regular neck size, just a tad smaller. 10 gauge strings and a matte finish. No pickup. No problems in terms of craftsmanship, especially if you take into account that this guitar costs 89 euros at the moment. Okay, the only thing that is really, really, really bad with this guitar is the fret finish. Every guitar in this price range has a horrible fret finish, so it's up to you. It's simply not existing. Just play it for 2 hours and things are okay. Yeah, you should hear an acoustic guitar. You do. Okay, we do. I'd say twangy, aggressive, biting, clear. Of course, you don't get this dreadnought boom. Yeah, you won't. But it's really transmitting the sound across the campfire and you can sing along. So this is perfect. So this is your companion for use case 1. If we're talking 90 euros, if things break just because somebody steps on it or falls on it or sleeps on it, get another one. For the next use case, family business or band business, a lot of people and a small car, and you come along with I need a guitar. This one is even too big. So the next one is even smaller. I chose the Yamaha APXT2. Smaller body, black finish, an even smaller scale. This is a 3/4 guitar. The scale is 580 millimeters. No, I don't know the inches. And it's also smaller than here. This is 5 millimeters smaller, narrower. So my fingers had a little bit of trouble finger picking and flat picking because it's different string spacing. Just keep that in mind. Matte finish, smaller body, and we have a pickup. That pickup features a tuner, a volume, and a tone knob. It also features batteries, which I should mention. I've never had AA batteries in a guitar. Now I have. No 9 volts anymore. That's it. Let's just hear it acoustically, okay? It's a small guitar and it sounds small. You have this reduced bass response and you have this thicker sounding top strings, but it's not that bad and it's not that loud, isn't it? You can rehearse at night in your trailer or wherever you are, and it might be a welcome addition to the next recording, a different sound, maybe. The next sound that you should hear is the electrified sound. What I should mention is that this tone potty here is flat when all the way to the left, and it's getting more and more scooped, trebly and bass heavy on the far right side. This is not a treble bass tone knob, it's a scoop flat tone knob. Here we go. Depending how you set it up, it can be really, really devastating on stage, I guess. Lots of bass and thump, but it stays in character. This boxy thing comes across really nice. This is the ideal companion for the next yeah, band camp or holiday with a family. You can rehearse late at night with some room between you and your neighbors. You won't, harass anybody, and it fits. Come on, this is not that big. As long as you put it on top and not on the bottom of your trunk, you're all right. Still too big? Oh. Okay, let's admit it, this is not that much per OV. We're coming from 90 euros now. This is 190 euros. And you want it even smaller. You want it a little bit more classiness. You want to show off a bit. And it should be still looking like a guitar. Then you have only one chance left. The Traveler Escape Mark III guitar. Mahogany construction, headless construction, full 650 millimeters of scale, and a broad and fat neck. And you have this typical construction from Traveler guitar. The I don't know how to call this. The tuning pegs on the middle of the body. If you tune this thing up, you're fine. If you're tuning down, the strings start jumping. Tick, tick, tick. Especially with natural, normal strings. I recommend using polyweb strings. They're really, 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 really slick. And then some nutsos, and I guess you're fine. Just as a reminder, the acoustic sound is non-existent, and therefore you have a pickup. The pickup is shadow made. We said it has a tuner, a phase inversion switch in case this thing feedbacks. Volume, treble, bass, and an auxiliary in, and the headphone in. The headphone is frequency compensated, so you can jam along late at night in the hotel room to your favorite songs. Okay, I guess we should listen to it. Pickup is, by the way, able to produce some really trebly sounds that are almost 12-string-like. Okay, this is a hybrid sound. This is not that big of an acoustic guitar. This is not a dreadnought. It's a solid body acoustic sound, to put it like this. The mixture between electric guitar and acoustic guitar. And I think you notice there's this bass thud. It's producing a lot of very low bass sounds. Body oomph. You might not hear this through YouTube. I hear this through my subwoofer. This thing is really pumping. If you hit it like this, you get a nice bass drum sound. The whole body is very sensitive, and if you're hitting the pickup, my setup here is going red, 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 red. So this is overdoing it a bit for the way that I play. You might want to have some sort of preamp equalization, especially for the bass. Let's just admit it, this is a piezo guitar, and like my personal opinion is there is no good sounding piezo guitar at all on this planet. So yeah, but it's all right for the use case. You won't have feedback on this thing. It's as small as guitars can get, so this is your road-ready stage monster for any sort of acoustic gigs, especially with a band. Verdict. So these were 3 use cases for traveling musicians. The Campfire, the Band Boss, and the even smaller stage-ready stuff for the most horrible conditions while traveling and on stage. On the way testing these things, I figured out some more use cases while we're on it. Maybe for the GS use case, one, you have smaller fingers than usual, like me. The shorter scale is welcome. It plays well. You're a beginner and you're sick of these beginners. The main purpose of beginner's instrument is to keep them from playing on. Instruments like this keep the fun up. 90 euros and you have a well-sounding, good playing guitar. Another use case would be for a guitar like this, just because it's playing well and is so cheap. If you want to have more than just one tuning, and you don't want to tune around all the time just to switch, and you want to have guitar for a tuning, 3 tunings, 4 tunings, 4 expensive guitars? Huh? Identical guitars? No. This could be a solution. If you've seen Ed Sheeran backstage, I guess he has a tuned up guitar for every capo position. This can get expensive. Well, he doesn't mind really, I guess. If you mind, this might be a solution. The Yamaha APXT2. Even smaller fingers, small people. Use case. If you need some sort of backup guitar for your main guitar, I say, okay, I have my Lakewood Martin, Santa Cruz, Taylor, you name it. And if things go wrong, like string breakage, battery theft, earthquake, and you need some sort of backup in the middle of a set. Doesn't take that much room on stage. And we have this traveler guitar. This is a specialized guitar. If you're playing in an environment where you think feedback is the last thing that I want, except from the audience, this is the way to go. Right beside the bass player, bass drum. Here we go. Stage performance. If you're somebody who's running around and an acoustic guitar might not be the one to go for. But if you're the acoustic player, and if you can't stomach these big guitars that you have to wrap your arm around, and then you go singing, singing the high E with a dreadnought around your neck is not the best thing. This might be a solution. And if you're an electric guitarist anyway, and you just can't handle these big guitars, it's just... think of your own use case. What do you need a guitar for, except for sounding good in the studio, on stage, on holiday, your environment, your playing style, what you want to do? Are you a looper? Are you a player in a band? Are you just doing background, filling up the band context? Or are you the solo spot? These are all different use cases, and you should tailor them to your needs, the guitars. Is there something in there that I would use? Well, the best thing for me, the closest to my use cases would be the Yamaha guitar. But if I was on the prowl for a good travel guitar, staged work, never mind, not too expensive, guitar, I think I'd like a case. And all these guitars come with a gig bag. And this is not road ready for me, so this is my use case that kills all 3 of them. Now, for the next holidays, check these guitars out or your use cases. And I'm tired now. Good night.